Imagine playing a game that is 5 years old, no longer has a roadmap, no longer has content coming to it from the developers or the company that owns the developers. There's just simply nothing coming to this game, and yet the community, the die-hard fans, and the modders are going to make this game last at least another 5 years. What's going on, everybody? Cryptix, and this is more or less a positive video. I know, right? Me being positive, that's crazy. But this is one game that I've just recently started to play again because of one particular mod, and it's Battlefront 2, right? The game Battlefront 2, however, the mod is called Battlefront 2 2022. Now, for my console players, I'm sorry, this does not exist. I've already made a video about actually why consoles are really a joke in the year of 2022 with the scalping prices and things like that. You're just better off getting a PC, right? But that's besides the point. Battlefront 2 2022 is strictly, for the most part, strictly mod based, meaning that most of the content that is in the game in terms of heroes, in terms of characters, in terms of abilities, is actually from people modifying files, adding files to the game, and it just is amazing. It's immaculate, actually. And the gameplay that you're seeing is me playing as Mace Windu, okay? Mace Windu is not a playable character in the base game of Battlefront 2. And there's just so much to go off of. I mean, there are so many heroes from both the good side and the bad side. And I think just a couple of them that come off the top of my head are, let's just start off with the dark side first. You have a new version of Emperor Palpatine where he actually has a lightsaber like he does in canon. You have Cad Bane. You have some of the old characters from the first Battlefront. I can't remember the bounty hunter's name, but he's got this turban or whatever, and it's really dope that they were able to add him in here. You have Jango Fett. You have all of these OG characters and all this extra content for the evil side, the bad side. But you also have characters coming to the good side too. You have additional characters there, right? It's just insane the amount of content that these people that basically make no money unless you donate to them, they make no money off of creating this content for us. The guy that the guy that created Mace Windu, he's not making that much money off of creating Mace Windu, and yet I was able to play as him, and he's got his own specific abilities. In fact, all of these heroes that I, mentioned before and will probably mention later on, they all have their own abilities, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. People actually programmed the game, they programmed the files so that Mace Windu can have, Crush and Force Stomp, and it's just really insane to even take a step back to look at that, right? But this game had so much potential from EA, Electronic Arts, who, mind you, doesn't have exclusive rights to Star Wars or is very close to their end of contract cycle, meaning, other games, other companies will, take on different projects and create more games for us, right? But when you look at this, right, EA poorly handled Battlefront 2. If a multi-billion-dollar company can't create the content, but modders can, who have limited resources, who don't make any money off of these mods, who don't make any money creating these mods, these people were able to make this game last much longer than the roadmap that EA set for it. EA should be ashamed of themselves. You know what I'm saying, man? This is insane that modders were able to add 8 heroes or 9 heroes to each side to actually make it a real true Star Wars experience, right? And of course, I can't play the OG Battlefront 2 back in 2005 where I can use an X-Wing, go into an enemy ship, blow up the enemy ship from the inside. but it's still crazy in terms of graphic fidelity, in terms of just this next-gen experience that we have. I'm able to play as all of these different characters, and guess what? It's not from the multi-billion-dollar company, right? This game can easily last another 5 years from the potential that we just see right here with this very own mod alone. If people are able to create this mod, you know, after the game's basically been abandoned for about a year and a half, 2 years, who knows what they're going to be able to do, especially with all these new Star Wars shows coming out, right? You got the Ahsoka show coming out. You have, obviously, the most recent one that will be applicable in 10 days, the Kenobi show. They can probably add characters, you know, from the Kenobi show into this game. You have just a bunch of different types. The Acolyte, which I believe is another one that's coming out. Like, you have so much potential to prolong this game if you are a modder. That is absurd to think about, right? And the crazy thing is that, you know, some people are saying, oh, well, you know, EA can shut the servers down. Well, yeah, but there's this third-party client called Kyber, which is actually the way you're able to play this mod. And basically, you don't need to have, to my knowledge, EA servers in order to play this game because people are hosting servers themselves. Now, just take a step back, right? EA hasn't shut down the servers yet. That's why you're able to still play on console, right? But once EA shuts the servers down, you're not going to be able to play this game online unless you are playing on PC and have the Kyber client. Meaning, again, that we don't need to rely on EA for the prolonging of this game. And the reason I think this game is going to actually last, you know, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years more with a dedicated fan base is the fact that you don't need to rely on EA, but also there's probably not going to be a Battlefront 3 or even just another inspired Battlefront type game for the foreseeable future, right? Because you have, you know, Jedi Fallen Order that's coming out soon. Yes, that's made by EA, and yes, it's actually a good single-player game with no microtransactions, but that's essentially what it is. It's not a multiplayer experience, at least at this point in time. It's a single-player game. You have a bunch of other little projects that are soon to be coming out, like Star Wars, I think it's called Eclipse. You have, you know, Star Wars The Old Republic, which is like this online RPG game. But for the most part, there's not going to be a Battlefront game where you're actually a clone trooper on the ground fighting droids on this open battlefield. You know what I'm saying? This game is probably going to last long because there's not another game in development. And when you couple that with mods and the fact that people are still creating mods, game modes, characters for this very title on PC, it's just amazing to see, and it's amazing to see the potential that this game would have had if EA actually did it right, but also the potential it has for the next 5, 6, 7 years with the help of modders. And I just want to, you know, shout out those guys. They are doing this. It's a dedicated Star Wars fan base, and even if you're not a Star Wars fan, it's crazy to just see people take on a project like this and actually have, like, people play this project. Like, easily I'm able to get into a lobby with, like, 20, 30, 40 other people that have the exact same setup, and they're able to just play online as Cad Bane, and I could be fighting, you know, as Obi-Wan Kenobi, deflecting the blaster bolts, and I could be on Camino, and I could, you know, force push the First Sister off from Jedi Fallen Order. Like, just wrapping my mind around that, it's a really great experience, and I just hope that they continue this amazing project that they've been taking on. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down below what you think about this situation, and do you think, you know, if you have a PC, would you even consider getting this game? Would you consider, you know, downloading the mods to actually play on the Kyber server? I think it's a really good idea if you're sick and tired of, you know, playing the same old game that you've been playing, the same old Call of Duty. Maybe you play Battlefield 2042. That's a mistake, but I think you guys get the point. I'm Cryptix, gonna hop on to Battlefront 2 Modded 2022, and signing off.